Have you ever seen 2 centimeters of crema on a coffee pull from an at-home single-serve coffee machine? Well, bet you haven't, but we're going to show you how you can get that today with the brand new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine. Hi everyone, I'm Brian with aromacup.com, and thanks as always for joining me in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by aromacup.com. The Nespresso VertuoLine is a brand new single-serve coffee machine line coming from Nespresso. We've obviously seen them in the market with a multitude of different espresso machines for years now, but they are now making a move into the single-serve coffee world while also still continuing to offer espresso. So this is a new innovation coming from Nespresso, and this is the first machine in the VertuoLine. It's simply called the VertuoLine. And we thought that it would be great to review it here at aromacup.com because we haven't seen anything like it before, and we know you guys like to check out the new technology coming out in the world of single-serve coffee. Let's dive in and talk about what is in the box for the new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine. Really unique machine. We're going to talk about all of its features in just a moment, but quickly, let's show you what's in the box. You get the machine, of course. You're going to get your instruction manual and all of the information that comes with that. And then you'll get a tasting box of 8 coffee capsules and 4 Nespresso espresso capsules. These are brand new and specific to this machine. We're going to talk about the capsules in a few moments. Let's dive in and talk about the machine and its operation. Starting from the bottom up on the machine, we're going to move up and just talk about all the different features of it. So we'll start with the tray as we usually do. The tray is pretty unique with the design of this machine, a little bit different from the regular Nespresso machines. It has this single removable metal plate, and this plate can actually move up in order to allow you to use smaller espresso mugs. And so that is a cool little feature. Otherwise, of course, you can always keep this down here. Now, you can also remove the entire tray. This is for being able to, of course, clean it. And additionally, this is going to allow you to use larger tumblers right underneath the actual brew basket here on the machine. Typically, you're probably just going to use the machine in that fashion with the metal tray sitting at the bottom. Moving on up, we have, of course, the brew spigot. This is where your coffee is going to come out. Not too much to explain there. What is very different on this machine from what we've seen on most Nespresso machines is going to be the actual brewing apparatus on the top. Now, you access this using the lever here on the top of the machine. Turning it to the left is going to unlock this. And this is where you're going to place your capsules for brewing. I'm going to talk about what's inside of here in a moment because this is where the innovation really starts to happen. But we're just going over, of course, the general features of the machine right now. So that lever is going to allow you to access where you're going to place your capsules when it's time to brew. And then when you're ready to brew, there's one button here on the top of the machine, and that button, when it is glowing solid white, is ready to start brewing with the machine. Now, in order to do that, you will turn this lever all the way over to what is my right-hand side, and the machine will go into brewing mode. On the left-hand side of the machine, you have your capsule collection tray. This is going to hold 14 spent capsules. Now, the capsules will fall immediately into that tray when you open up the top part of the machine right here, and we'll show that to you later on. On the right-hand side of the machine, you have your water tank. It's a 40-ounce water tank. Does not have a water filter, so as we usually say here on aromacup.com, you're going to want to use distilled or filtered water to get the best flavor out of your coffee and, of course, to cut down on lime scale buildup in the machine. One of the things you'll notice I did not mention is a power button, and that's because there actually is not one on this machine. It sort of doubles into the brewing button. So the machine, when you turn this lever over to the right-hand side, it will go into heat up mode, and it takes about 15 to 20 seconds to heat up. That's when the machine will be ready to start brewing. Now, it has a 9-minute automatic shutoff built into it. So if you haven't used the machine for 9 minutes, it's going to turn itself off to save energy. If you want to be able to turn the machine off earlier than that, you can simply hold this button down for 3 seconds and the machine will turn itself off. But otherwise, you can just allow it to go into auto off mode. So there's no power button on this machine, which did confuse me a little bit at first until I started reading through and learning about it, and I realized it's all built into the brew button and the brewing apparatus here on the top of the machine. Now, here's where things get pretty interesting with the Nespresso VertuoLine, and that's because Nespresso has introduced a new capsule type with this machine. And so I have some of the capsules right here. Now, first off, as I mentioned earlier, this machine is going to allow you to make use of actually being able to brew both espresso and coffee all in one machine. So on my left-hand side, I have a coffee capsule, and you notice it's a little bit bigger. In my right hand, I have a espresso capsule, a little bit smaller, but both very different from the Nespresso capsules that we have gotten to know, that we have used so often with Nespresso machines in the past. Now, we did measure the amount of coffee that you're going to get in each of these, and we've broken it down to, you're going to get about 13 grams of coffee in one of the coffee capsules. You're going to get about 8 grams of espresso in one of the espresso capsules. And then in one of the traditional Nespresso capsules, you're getting about 7 grams of espresso. This machine uses what Nespresso is calling the centrifusion technology. Part of that is going to mean that this capsule is actually going to spin while it's being brewed, and I'm going to show that to you a little more in depth in a second here. But in addition to the centrifusion technology, built onto each capsule is a barcode, and this barcode is just around the entire edge of this capsule. That barcode is going to be read by the VertuoLine machine, and that is going to tell it exactly how much water it should run through this capsule in order to brew your espresso or your cup of coffee. So this is brand new to Nespresso because we've never seen them do anything like that. This is a lot like the Bosch Tassimo machines that we've reviewed many times here on aromacup.com. Brewing with the new VertuoLine machine is very interesting, as I say, because it's very different from anything we've used from Nespresso in the past. Now, I'm going to be making use of one of the new VertuoLine coffee capsules. We're just going to brew coffee today because this is where I've found a very interesting brew from this machine, namely because one of the things that Nespresso has been talking about a lot with the VertuoLine machine is the crema that comes out of this machine. Now, the reason for that is because of the centrifusion technology that's being used with the VertuoLine machine. Now, what does that mean? Well, on the top half of the brew basket right here, we're going to find this spinning disc that has a multitude of small spikes coming out of it. It's actually the kind of thing you probably would not want to be fooling around with too much. But what this does is it actually will pierce this capsule, and it's going to spin that capsule at 7,000 revolutions per minute. So that's quite fast. And as it does that, that is what is going to lead to the crema that comes from this machine. And I've seen a pretty impressive crema come from it. So that's really at the heart of the technology that is making this machine brew the way that it does, the centrifusion technology. So let's show you how it brews. We're going to drop our coffee capsule in, and we can just set this in really any way. There's no special direction. Just needs to set in this bottom portion of the machine right here. And now when I close this, it's going to lock down and puncture that capsule. So now all of those spikes have actually punctured the capsule, and the machine is going to almost be ready to start brewing. In order to enter brew mode, I need to lock down the brew basket. Now when I've locked it, I'm going to take a look at the button on the top of the machine. As long as it's glowing white, I'm ready to start brewing. So let's brew a cup of coffee using the Nespresso VertuoLine. And you can hear immediately that the centrifuge actually spins up, and it starts to spin, and then the pump starts to do its work, and that's where the water is going to start being filtered into the capsule. But then in a moment here, we're going to hear the centrifusion technology actually spinning up. There it goes. So this is actually spinning the capsule while the brewing is happening. This is something I found very interesting because I haven't seen another machine that does anything like this. What this does lead to is a really impressive crema on the coffee that you get out of this machine. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. We're also going to measure the temperature coming out of the machine. One thing that some folks have asked me about, though, is would this actually be considered coffee? I would say it is, although it's a very different type of coffee from what you would expect from your average single-serve machine. All right, so there we go. That is a cup of coffee from the Nespresso VertuoLine machine. You can see that the crema is literally foam, and it looks like we're going to go just a little bit around 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And let me show you what these capsules will look like after you have brewed with them. In order to open this machine up, we'll just turn this back all the way to the left, the lever, open it, and you can see the capsule falls out immediately. And if we take a look at this capsule after we have brewed with it, be careful because it's going to be hot, you're going to notice that the capsule has had a multitude of holes punched in it. And all those holes are where the centrifusion technology is actually gripped into this pod and spun it while the brewing process is happening. But of course, you don't really have to pay attention to any of that because the cleanup is really fast. Every time you open up the machine, you're simply going to empty that spent pod and then you can start brewing again. How much are you going to pay for the new Nespresso VertuoLine machine? You're looking at about $299. That's the suggested retail price. Where can you get it? Check the link in the description of our video to find the best place that you can add the new VertuoLine machine to your at-home coffee shop. So what's my bottom line on the new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine? I think it's really cool. I think that if you're willing to spend a little bit of a premium on a new machine for your own at-home coffee shop, you're going to get a lot out of this machine. You're going to be able to make coffee and espresso, of course, and you're going to get a very impressive crema on both of those. Couple this with something like the Nespresso Aeroccino, you've got a great at-home coffee shop and you're going to do everything with one machine. So there you have it, guys. That's an overview of the brand new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine coming to you from Nespresso. This is an exclusive review here at aromacup.com, so we hope that you found it useful. If you have questions, comments, anything that we missed, anything that you're curious about, make sure to get in touch with us in the comments on this video, or of course, visit us on aromacup.com and drop us a line there. As always, guys, I'm Brian, coming to you from my virtual coffee shop here at aromacup.com. I want to thank you for joining me. Enjoy your cup, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Not sure if you want to add the new VertuoLine machine to your at-home coffee shop. Maybe you want to stick with the Nespresso Original Line single-serve espresso machines. Well, we're going to do a side-by-side review of this machine and one of the original Nespresso machines coming up right after we're done with this video. So you'll want to check out that video. Click the link right over here to check out a cool side-by-side comparison between the two. So, starting from the bottom, starting from the bottom up, bottom? Jesus, okay. Saying words weird today. Take 3. Have you ever seen 2 centimeters of crema on a coffee pull from an at-home single-serve coffee machine? Well, bet you haven't, but we're going to show you how you can get that today with the brand new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine. Hi everyone, I'm Brian with aromacup.com, and thanks as always for joining me in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by aromacup.com. The Nespresso VertuoLine is a brand new single-serve coffee machine line coming from Nespresso. We've obviously seen them in the market with a multitude of different espresso machines for years now, but they are now making a move into the single-serve coffee world while also still continuing to offer espresso. So this is a new innovation coming from Nespresso, and this is the first machine in the VertuoLine. It's simply called the VertuoLine. And we thought that it would be great to review it here at aromacup.com because we haven't seen anything like it before, and we know you guys like to check out the new technology coming out in the world of single-serve coffee. Let's dive in and talk about what is in the box for the new Nespresso VertuoLine single-serve coffee and espresso machine.